Hi, everybody. We'll be talking about bully prevention. The program we have chosen is Rachel Challenge Program. I'm Megan Lawhead.
I'm Destiny Manturia.
And I'm Gabriela Vargas.
We'll be talking about what it is, how it is implemented, and specific examples implemented into schools, gaps between the program, and the theoretical concepts that Rachel Challenge is connected to, and incorporate how we will incorporate it into our teaching practice. So this program is brought by Rachel Scott, who was the first victim of the Columbine school shooting. She has brought up kindness and has challenged others to continue having it, and is a powerful tool to have against anti-bullying. It offers multiple programs to be brought into schools for the social emotional learning and the mental health of students, bringing connection and healing to those who participate, from staff to the parentals and the students. The way it is implemented into schools, it is schools host assemblies with the Rachel's Challenge. They offer a live speaker or a digital presentation and speaker to show the importance of the kindness and empathy and compassion that needs to be brought into the schools and into the communities to help fight against the bullying and the violence. Teachers should be trained with the challenge and bringing the principles of the challenge into their own teaching methods. Students have workshops after their assemblies. To participate in these workshops, they will have activities that will be with the themes of empathy and acceptance and positive communication, hearing their peers' thoughts and working towards having an open communication between staff and student is the only way to perceive a non-anti-bullying future. There is also a creation of Friends for Rachel, or four clubs, and is established in many schools, and it's student-led. They focus for the promoting of the culture of kindness within their classrooms.
So here we have a specific example of Rachel's Challenge at Plum Borough School District. So each school in this district has its own ways of implementing the challenge, but in this specific middle school, each month they have a different theme. And for September's theme, it was looking for the best in others. And this is where students were recognized on TV screens and bulletin boards. And this is really nice because the students are able to see and nominate each other who they think deserves to be on the board for the month. Another example is at the Renton Central School District. And so they decided to host a community event where students from each schools were invited to sign a large poster accepting the 5 tenets of Rachel's Challenge. This includes using kind words and doing kind things for others. Also, at the high school level, the students were able to attend this training for the Forest Club, and they decided that they wanted to create this club at their school and keep the kindness chain going. And lastly, we have it in our own Fresno Unified School District. A couple years ago, Rachel Scott's dad came to Central East High School to share his and his daughter's stories. And after the meeting with the students, they decided to create a student-led group to come up with projects and ideas to keep the chain going. Something notable across the 3 examples that we shared is that those schools were, across the nation. So the first one was in Pennsylvania, the second one was in New York, and then of course this one's in California. So that just shows that not only is it like nationwide, but they also have Rachel's Challenge like internationally, which I think is really cool.
For the gaps between the original intention of the program and how it is implemented in schools. One way there can become a gap in different schools is the focus on individual acts versus systematic challenge. The original intention of Rachel's Challenge emphasizes individual acts of kindness. However, there can be a gap when it comes to student individual acts and creating a challenge at a school. If a teacher focuses only on students' individual acts and not explaining or showing a connection between multiple classrooms or even across the school, these acts will not help create a different change for their school environment. Parent and community engagement can also become a gap in this program. The program's intentions likely include activities involving from parents and the community. However, if there is limited parental involvement, there can be a hindrance for the reinforcement of kindness principles outside of the school environment, impacting the program's effectiveness as a whole. So if students are not practicing this kindness outside of their school, like at home or in the community, they will not grow to benefit from the program itself. Rachel's challenges meet Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Rachel's challenge meets Maslow's hierarchy of needs by connecting to the safety needs, love and belonging, and the esteem needs. An example of how Rachel's challenge meets safety needs is by focusing on preventative safety. This is done by connecting and understanding a student's mental and behavioral health, creating a social and emotional connection, and understanding what behaviors are appropriate. For love and belonging, Rachel's challenges is to make kindness cool. This is done by having teachers who spend time connecting with their students and helping their students connect with each other, ultimately buying back teaching time. And for self-esteem needs, Rachel's challenge helps grow the students' and staff's emotional resilience. This is done by creating interconnectedness, having teens confidently communicate with teachers and other students, and encouraging self-reflection. Students in this type of environment will supporting emotional education and have more freedom to learn.
So, I'd like to talk about how I would implement it into my class. So, because Rachel's challenge came to my middle school when I was in 8th grade, and we had a live speaker, and they projected photos and were informing us of the impact of the time. It was very heartwarming and really dark, and it was really dark. It really hurt us. It hurt our feelings, even though we weren't there. It was just, you could see the pain, and it really wanted us to, we didn't want to have that ever happen around our area. So as a group, we talked about it. And so I feel the importance of the connection of the students and school staff is the greatest impact it can have. And so to continue this, I'd like to start off my students of the week with a Rachel Challenge digital program, which is a recorded speaker and videos, and leaving time for the students to break out into groups or even come up to me and discuss their thoughts and feelings. And so it just keeps the communication ongoing and keeping the chain of Rachel's Challenge.
Okay. For my future teaching practices, I really liked the idea of creating change through acts of kindness. Rachel's program helped show that hope is an antidote to fear, kindness is contagious, compassion connects us all, and empathy can end isolation. One example that I would like to implement in my teaching was the mission of starting a chain reaction of kindness with paper chains from the students. So the example I saw was in elementary school where they had every single classroom each day. The students would write down on a piece of paper one act of kindness that either the student created or did themselves, or they saw a different student. And these chains were connected throughout the whole year until they were able to fill this chain in the school gymnasium. If possible, I would like to do this in my future classroom and have other classes in my district also do this challenge, and even have multiple schools do this challenge in our district.
And for me, one of the key takeaways from the Rachel's program was the chain of reaction of kindness. So I would encourage my students to perform acts of kindness, and then I would have my students reflect on the positive impact that these actions have. So not only just having them do the action, but also like have them understand why or the effects that doing these kinds of actions have on each other. And so for a specific example of how I plan to incorporate it into my teaching is using the kindness box. So I would encourage my students to share kind words, compliments, or expressions of gratitude. They would write these like on little note cards or just like on a blank piece of paper, and just like a kinder, uplifting message about their classmate. And depending on the group dynamics, the students can choose to do it anonymously or put their names on it. But if you keep it anonymous, it might encourage more open and honest expressions and compliments. And so this is to foster a positive and supportive environment, which, like as we mentioned earlier, this is super important for all the students to feel included and not feel left out, because that oftentimes is the main reason why school shootings happen, because the student might feel isolated and not included in class. So this would be a good way to include everyone and have them complement each other. And these